and was told that I was like an unparalleled top performer. And Monday I came in to a layoff.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Like, hey, you're the best. Oh, and then, by the way, I'm going to lay you off.
And now this year, I've spent the last year involved in studying workforce development issues in the state of Florida with Synapse and how that impacts our major donors and supporters and the challenges that they've had competing in this market with the FANGs of the world, right? And all this remote workforce with New York and California pay scales. That's not really sustainable as a small business owner in Florida. So we've studied this all year, and now here we are a year later getting to do this amazing activation for people who are looking for their next opportunity and for employers that want that top tier tech talent with our partners at NextPath. So for me, on a very personal level, I think it's a meaningful way to give back to the community and to help people not only to grow their business with the right talent, but to help talented tech employees and sales and marketing people find their next opportunities.
Yeah. Obviously, we're very passionate about that. So.
Yeah, I love the work that you all do here to help empower people in the next steps in their career. I think it's super meaningful. It's hard to navigate on your own. I think women especially have, confidence issue around this. So to see the two of you out there doing it and being the embodiment of what that looks like, it's awesome.
Yes, I'm happy to have you here.
Thanks so much. I'm Raechel Canipe. I am the founder at Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship and at Synapse Florida in my day job that empowers me to be out in the community, getting involved in that way. I do operations, community engagement, and sales and marketing integration.
Great. I want to touch on all of that. But the thing that I was like so excited to talk to you about first, actually both of them, they're both like what I really want to dig into. But so your baby, you mentioned the Women in Tech. How did you, because you were telling us before we started recording that you don't really see yourself as an entrepreneur, which you are, by the way. And you started this company, and tell us about it.
Yeah. So I think through my involvement with Synapse, I've seen the power of community and connection and the way that we resource people through their peers and the relationships that they have. And in all of these community events, and especially in the tech space, I've seen this vacuum for women. And I think that one of the things that we don't talk about with community is translating experiences. And the experiences that women in tech and women founders have are unique. And I don't know if you've ever had this conversation with a family member where maybe you're trying to explain a challenge that you're having or experiences that you're having in this environment. It takes so much effort just to get them up to speed on what it is that you do and what the environment is like, that it's exhausting before you've even gotten to what the core problem is. And so I wanted to bring together a community where we don't have that need to translate, where there's some shared experience and background, and where we can get right to the crux of what the challenges are in a really candid way. And also a community of hype girls. We know from studies that when we brag about ourselves, it doesn't look good. And we tend to be a little too humble sometimes. And sometimes that prevents people from understanding the value that we bring. So when I am at an event with someone, I always try to give them a hype girl intro. So now I'm connecting the dots between two people, helping them both understand the value that they bring to the dynamic without someone having to feel uncomfortable or braggadocious. And that's impactful too. And so those are just things that I've naturally been doing for a long time. And I had some really good girlfriends that caught wind of the fact that I wanted to start this community, and they just hounded me until I finally did it. And
those are some friends, right?
Right. Yes. And that's another aspect of community that becomes really important. So it has grown now from just a casual happy hour where we could kind of collaborate and commiserate to a full-blown platform for resourcing women at all different levels in their journey. So we have one arm for women who are just starting out in their tech careers. Maybe they're making a pivot, or maybe they're, fresh out of school, and we're helping them get their footing, whether it is free, tuition free, or low cost boot camps and training, like our partners at Computer Coach, who I have the privilege of knowing through Synapse, right? Or whether it is more advanced, maybe you have a side hustle. We have groups of women that are starting their own businesses, they're bootstrapping on the side, and they want to grow that to their full-time employment. And then the last path are women that are already in entrepreneurship full-time. It's very high stakes. They might be in tech, or they're in something that's tech enabled, because really you might be in a boring business, but tech could be the differentiator for that business, right? So you need access to that talent, that resource. So we're connecting them with funding, with VCs that are specifically interested in women, with grants and other programs, and then with the talent and trusted partners that can help advise them in their business. So, and it's a member-led decentralized effort. So a lot of these things that have emerged that are now part of the programming that we offer are things that our members have asked for. So that's women in tech and entrepreneurship. And I really do see myself more as a community builder than as an entrepreneur, because I'm just dot connecting, just like I do at Synapse.
Right. I love
Yes.
that. Like, wow. I mean, that is pretty amazing. It's something that we really needed here. I feel like all communities need that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're bringing it here is amazing.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing.
Thank you. And I think what you ladies are doing is so important too, because those early steps in a career, they're really challenging, and you need a trusted partner that can help you with that. It's
Mhm.
part of why I'm so excited about the talent activation that we're doing with Next Path at Synapse Summit this year, because you guys are that trusted partner. You are those women that are out there living the embodiment of how to grow in those next steps in your career, and how to not just lean in, but jump off the ledge and make things happen.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
We're excited for Synapse, and to be able to do that and share our story, and to help people connect people, because we are people connectors too, help people find their new opportunity and connect them with other people in the community. That's what it's all about, right? Connecting people. And
The connectors are so important, really.
I love that word, because it's a little bit lighter than I'm an entrepreneur. It sounds so like stressful, right? Like, I don't know. I put that
An entrepreneur, there's a lot of
assumption
stress
behind it, right?
right? Yeah.
And so I love the
One, it makes it about service too.
Right.
So instead of this is
Yes.
about me, I think maybe this isn't unique to women, but it's something that I see with my female friends quite a bit. I think that when we shift our frame from this is something that I'm out there doing that's about me, to this is something that I'm doing that's about service to others, it flows much better. It becomes more natural. So I think that's important.
Yeah, it's something that I think females can digest a little bit better, and then really, really get behind, or really kind of wrap their arms around, and feel like, okay, if I'm doing this for others, then let me be in that creative state a little bit more than, I don't know, that word entrepreneur just kind of maybe sounds so maybe masculine, and maybe,
Well, it's a confidence issue
yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
And I've been amazed at the overwhelming number of men who have reached out, who have said, yes, I want to help with women in tech and entrepreneurship. I want to be involved with Synapse. Our advocates out there, spouses, brothers, sons, they want to instill this confidence in their female peers and in the women in our community. And they want to help resource with the knowledge and information. And sometimes the pulling back the curtain and saying, I didn't know what I was doing either. That's okay. You don't have to have it all figured out. So it's been
great.
powerful.
Good.
Yeah.
I love that. So we have Synapse coming up next week.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's
Because
Day.
we love innovation.
Right?
Yes.
That's right. I love that. I mean, what are you doing for the whole entire day? You're not doing anything until dinner time anyway.
Right.
That's
So
right.
So come on over to Synapse.
And we have people who have met their co-founders at Synapse, and that's one kind of match. We do have a volunteer who will be at the talent activation who met her boyfriend at Synapse. I met my partner through professional networking, which I know it's very taboo, right? But there are concentric circles where you can navigate that in an appropriate way. And when you're someone who networks as much as women like us do, you pretty much eliminate anyone who has a job at a certain point. And so sometimes we meet people that share our interest and our values through these kinds of community events. Not that Synapse is for dating. We do have a dating app that will be there. We have,
really?
yep, we have a chocolatier that will be there as well, called Fungible Chocolates. So they use lion's mane and all of these really healthy mushrooms in their chocolates.
Okay, we're gonna go see them.
Yeah, so we do have some Valentine's Day themed things. We have glamour shots going on one of the floors. One of our PR agencies is doing full professional makeup and headshots.
Oh, really?
And then if you just want a straight up professional headshot, we have Masterminds of Tampa Bay down on the arena level doing headshots. So you can stop by the Florida's Got Talent session with Next Path Career Partners and Synapse Summit, and then make your way over to the Masterminds table and get your professional headshot updated.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that.
Get your makeup done before your hot date.
That's
Valentine's
right.
Day.
That's right.
Makeup done, photo shoot, hot date.
You know,
Perfect.
our Tampa Devs partner is bringing his girlfriend, his significant other, to Synapse Summit for the day. So this could be an opportunity to bring your partner and have them get exposure to what it is that you do every day, to get excited about how tech impacts every aspect of our lives. And of course, it's not just about tech, it's about innovative problem solving. So we have Wherewithal, Danielle Rushton, will be joining us again. And we wouldn't think of a bra as tech, but she's innovating the way that we size bras to be much more common sense, much more practical, and to be more accommodating to the many different types of bodies that are out there. So we're about innovation, and oftentimes that gets wrapped up with tech, but it's really about creative problem solving. And so Summit is like the problem solvers playground.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
We've met so many great people at Synapse, and we've had quite a few on our podcast already. Actually, a couple people. Actually, this will be our third. I'm jumping all around. This will be our third live recording at Synapse this year. So
I know you did this at Orlando too.
Yes, we've had a lot of great people on. The Orlando one was like, we interviewed so many people that we did it in like batches. We had 2 different weeks that we produced, with I think 6 to 7 people total. Last year at Synapse Tampa, we interviewed 2 really great individuals that were on. I know one of them was a panelist, Ashley Brundage. She was on, and Caitlin Moody. And then Kathy Wood was on our podcast.
She'll be back with us again this
I'm
year.
excited that she'll be back.
Me too.
It's great. So there's so many great people that you can connect with at Synapse. So we've met so many people along the way, and it's great.
And so since you bring Kathy up, I'm very much a bull in a china shop, and I'm just going to challenge Kathy on something that I saw recently. She wants to bring kind of like South by Southwest, but South by Southeast to Florida. And I would argue that Synapse has already been building this for the last 6 years. The evolution that I've seen from day one, when I used to get involved with Synapse to prospect and look for business leads and that kind of development sales role, to being a corporate sponsor and a board member to Synapse, to today being on the staff. We are the next South by Southwest. We are that South by Southeast. So I'm so glad that she's getting involved with us. Hopefully we can figure out a way to work together to bring that vision to the next step.
That's exciting. Yeah, she's very humble too, and just full of knowledge.
She's wonderful.
That'll be a great conversation. Are you interviewing her?
No, I won't be interviewing her. I will be scrambling to make sure that our 300 exhibitors have everything that they need, that our sponsors get all of the exposure and connection that they are looking for. So I'll be
You'll be
pretty
busy.
scarce. I'll be pretty scarce. You'll see me as, a blue blur running around on the floor, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Who's going to be on the main stage?
There are going to be a lot of people on the main stage. So I don't know if we have other Peloton fans out there listening, or if you ladies are Peloton fans.
Yeah.
We're leaning into this love theme.
Mm.
Allie Love
I
is
love
going to be
Allie
talking.
Love.
We love Allie Love. She's phenomenal. So she'll be one of our main stage speakers. Steve Case. So I think we probably have a lot of listeners that don't remember AOL, but I still have my AOL email address. So he was one of the original founders of AOL, and just tremendously successful. And he's been incredibly involved with the state of Florida and our tech and innovation climate here. I'm very invested. I want to say several years ago, he did a big bus tour around the state. So he's been working in the community on the same things that Synapse has been working on for a long time. And then we have the Cade Museum will not only be one of our main stage speakers, but they're also going to be on the floor. They're bringing some of their innovative inventors, and they're bringing this amazing community built structure called the Polycade. So their inventors are going to help teach people how to collaborate on these projects, and they're going to give a hands-on opportunity to build this giant structure on the main floor. So something to check out and stop by and get some pictures with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited. We have a live panel that we're doing with yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to connect with you again, Lakshmi Sonoy from Embark, as well as Lauren
Prager will be
Okay,
moderating
Lauren-
your panel.
Okay. And then Megan O'Keefe.
I love
from
Megan.
TET, the new executive director. So that should be
Talk
really
about
good.
another person who's really contributed a lot
Yes.
to our community. She was at the St. Pete EDC, having huge impact and bringing in some of these big businesses that had completely missed the boat on Florida for such a long time. And now over at TBT, she's really helping to bring this region to the next level.
Mhm.
And we're
And
really excited for her.
I love everyone, all the tech innovators and tech partnerships working together.
Yeah.
Like Synapse and TBT and the EDC and Chamber and Embark and the
Yeah.
Wave. Like they're like it's
And
all
they will
big-
all be at Summit
Yes,
this
which is
year.
great.
And if you're interested in EDCs, EFI and Team Florida will have a pavilion with EDCs from all over the state in one central area. So you can understand what's going on in Jacksonville, right? What's going on in other parts of Florida, because we all make this patchwork quilt, this tech and innovation community. We already have these pockets of focus. Miami has a lot of crypto and blockchain. Tampa has a lot of cybersecurity, right? Orlando has a lot of meta center and virtual reality going on. So it's really exciting to see how those things come together and enable different levels of innovation.
That'll be great.
Yeah, super exciting.
We totally jumped into like Synapse and who's speaking, where's speaking, all of this innovative like gurus that I can't wait to meet and talk to. But maybe we should share with everyone like what specifically Synapse is, just in case they haven't heard of it. I know we talk about it a lot on our podcast, but what is Synapse?
Gosh, well, we have a lot of transplants in the region too, right? A lot of newly arriving tech professionals who maybe haven't had a chance to attend Summit before. I'm always surprised when I meet someone who doesn't know what Summit is yet, because it's had such a big impact in my life personally. I think I take for granted. Synapse Florida is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we work to resource the innovators in the state of Florida. And a lot of that is through relationship building and dot connecting and putting people together in the same room. So when you are an entrepreneur first getting your start, you need access to funding, you need access to talent, you need co-founders, maybe you're technical and you need someone who can help you with sales and marketing, or maybe you're not technical and you need someone technical. And then our big enterprise businesses in Florida, they have challenges that they cannot solve on their own. They know that this isn't their core competency, and they need these smaller startups to come in and help enable them so they can continue to focus on what they do well, and they can bring these tech-enabled services into their space, these innovative solutions to problems into their space. So we're putting all of those people together in the same room. We're bringing the universities in because they're developing that next wave of talent in many cases, right? And they're also standing up a lot of entrepreneurship-oriented programs. So we're bringing those programs like at UT, at FSU. We have these wonderful hubs for young budding entrepreneurs. So we're bringing them in to experience this whole new world of possibilities as well. So it's a collaborative effort. And then you've got organizations like EDI2 with Hillsborough County, Jennifer, and they help to resource a lot of the entrepreneurs in the area, but most people don't realize that those services are available. So sometimes it's just creating the awareness and the exposure for these organizations. Or Tampa Bay Wave, Embark Collective. We, through partnerships with enterprise businesses like Duke Energy and Florida Power and Light and Silicon Valley Bank, we're creating these opportunities for those entrepreneurs involved in accelerators and incubators in our region, like Embark and Tampa Bay Wave, to exhibit at this summit trade show, right? That would cost them thousands of dollars to participate in. If we were a private for-profit entity, they're able to do that for $250, which is skin in the game money. It really just ensures that they show up. And we're creating non-dilutive funding opportunities and pitch contests and things that are real needle movers. So Silicon Valley Bank has organized some other funders like Deep Work Capital to bring in $150,000 worth of funding opportunities for a pitch competition on the main stage. Even if you don't take that money home, now you've been on the main stage at Synapse Summit and created awareness for the problem that you're solving. We've got the Innovation Awards, which we've done every year, but this year they come with cash prizes. We have another $100,000 in cash prizes through the Innovation Awards that we'll be giving out this year, thanks to 35 Mules at Florida Power and Light. So it's amazing. There are a lot of opportunities.
That's awesome. And I know we were chatting about like women and tech, right?
Yeah.
Earlier. And this is obviously like a technical kind of summit, right? And innovativeness and all that fun stuff. But like, how can we bridge the gap on like the female standpoint? Because I feel like this resonates, sorry, men, with like the men more so than the women, right? And there's like a lot of women that I think are tech or are innovative, but they just don't maybe know it or don't see it like that. Like we were talking earlier about, the difference between like entrepreneurship and what were we saying? What was the word? We need to write that
Community
down.
building.
Right. Community building. So like maybe what do you think like we could do to like bridge the gap from getting women into tech more and getting them involved more?
Sure. I agree. I think that is a challenge. I think number one, there are a lot of women who are in tech and see themselves as being in tech that just can't find the other peers that are out there. They go to an industry event and they're like one of 100,
Right.
But I think that you also see problems in early education with young women who are excited about math and science starting out. And by the time they get to high school, they no longer see themselves as going into a STEM or STEAM career, right? So I think there are challenges at every level. I think a lot of it is in representation. We know that representation is important, having those role models. Before we got started, I was sharing with you ladies that I got my career start in copier sales.
Yes.
And
I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly what I wanted you to mention.
right.
Like, tell us that story.
So this is where representation becomes really important. I don't think any young millennial woman dreams of going into copier sales as a career, but it is such a great foundation for getting your start. The sales skills, the marketing skills, the tenacity and the grit that I picked up from that, not to mention the insensitivity to rejection that, people don't like copier reps. Let's just be honest. I had some really wonderful friends who knew that I was feeling a little ambivalent about this career move. And they went out and did some research, and they discovered that Sarah Blakely, self-made, you know, millionaire, billionaire, I'm not sure anymore, founder of Spanx, got her start in copier sales. So I started digging. Turns out that not only did she get her start in copier sales, but she got her idea door knocking. She would wear these peep toe shoes. And she wanted, back then you were wearing hosiery, and she wanted hose that she could wear with peep toes. And she got the idea pounding the pavement for Danka, which was a copier company started by the founders of Dex Imaging. So she actually worked this market. She probably knocked on some of the same doors that I did. She worked with many of the same people that I did at Dex. And having that representation, she was a role model for me that copiers were the start of what I would do next. And even if it was copiers forever, that was not a bad thing. But that I was building entrepreneurial skills while I was in this role that were going to help launch the next thing for me. And it truly has. If it weren't for that first role and that representation, having that example of another woman who had started in that industry and done something meaningful for herself, for her family, and for other women as a role model. I think that really helped to encourage me and keep me inspired in some of the not so fun aspects of starting in a very, very difficult cutthroat industry.
Wow. Like, I feel like it's so important for women to have good women role models. Even, for example, you may not know Sarah Blakely personally, but
Right.
she was a great example and role model for women all over. And but also to have someone that and good friends. Like, sounds like you have really great friends that motivate you and encourage you, so that's important. Just other women that help lift you up.
Yeah. And I'll say also, you don't necessarily have to see yourself as a quote unquote techie to get involved in tech. Lauren Prager at Synapse is a very good example of this. She's a phenomenal role model. She's definitely a corporate woman. She got her start in lobbying, and she moved over to Synapse at first as a volunteer, and she's now our chief strategy officer. And she says all the time, she is a Luddite. Good tech is something that solves problems for people who don't see themselves as technical. And so if you are a woman who maybe isn't technical, but you understand business, you understand humans and the problems that we have, you can then identify tech that's meaningful, right? And you can bring a different aspect to how that tech gets deployed in the marketplace. So you don't necessarily have to be in tech right now. Anyone can pivot into a tech career if they're presented with the right resources and the grit to act on those resources. But you may be totally overlooking a perspective that you have that's meaningful in that technical space.
That's, I think, huge for a lot of the ladies that listen, because I know a long time ago when I thought tech, I thought like programmer, like
Yeah.
hardcore. You're like literally in the weeds,
Developer, hacker.
developing, hacker, like all these cool, like real, true, like tech, whatever jobs. But like you were saying earlier, it's really not, it's not that, right? Like
Yeah.
you can make even bra sizing, right? Like
Yeah.
you can make that kind of a little bit techie, right?
Yeah.
With the way you size them or whatever the case is. Like there's just different aspects to each job that could be technical.
It could be, yeah. And again, it's an innovation summit. And so technology touches so much of what we do in life. It's so pervasive. I think we are predisposed to immediately jump to, oh, it's a tech summit. But innovation is about problem solving. And you can bring a unique perspective and no tech at all and come up with an innovative way to solve a problem. But 9 times out of 10, there is some kind of tech that goes into it. I'll give you an example. One of our women in tech and entrepreneurship members, Rebecca, has developed this platform I'm a little under-caffeinated this morning. I think it's Care Collective. But she is resourcing people with affordable, accessible home health care. And she is resourcing those home health care providers with a livable wage and better treatment than they typically get. And that is part of that is tech enabled, right? There are platforms that make it possible to do that, but she doesn't consider herself a technical founder. She is someone who had her own experiences as the primary caregiver for a loved one and understands the challenges, the problems that exist in that space. And she's used that experience and leveraged, partners and her own grit and know-how to develop this solution. It's a win-win-win solution, right? Because now the individual who needs care is receiving more responsive, faster, on-demand care when they need it. The caretaker is receiving some relief and reprieve and something that is more accessible and affordable. And the care provider is being compensated on a livable wage. So that's not necessarily a problem that is rooted in technology, but it's a problem that she, with her unique non-technical perspective, is solving with a tech platform. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, that is. Raechel, it has been so great having you on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for being a partner to us and this
Yes.
adventure that is Synapse Summit.
Oh, we love it. We're always big supporters of Synapse. It's a great event, and it's not just in Tampa, it's in Orlando and then expanding or
Yeah, I think expanding. So something that people who live in Tampa may not realize about Synapse is that we're a statewide organization. We were founded in Tampa, and we do our statewide event in Tampa every year at Amalie Arena, Synapse Summit. So we bring innovators from all over the state to this event, usually around February or March. Throughout the rest of the year, we go into other communities and we do focused events for them, for their innovators specifically. So in Orlando, we partner with the Orlando Tech Community, the OTC, formerly the Orlando Tech Council, right? And the Orlando Economic Partnership to bring all of these companies from the greater Orlando region into the same area, the same venue for Synapse Orlando. And there are constantly invitations to go into other markets and regions. And we're being very intentional and strategic about where we stand up that next event. But there is a third event on the horizon that will be community focused. And over the summer, we do smaller roundtable events. So last year, we spent a lot of time talking about workforce development, talent gaps in the tech space, and what our innovators need from a workforce perspective to keep moving forward. And we did 3 of those. We did one in St. Pete, one in Orlando, and one in Fort Lauderdale. And then we partner with other major community events like Emerge Americas. So we'll be back in Miami in April for that community event in Miami.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you mentioned that then. That's important.
Yeah.
So we look forward to Synapse Summit in Tampa next week, Valentine's Day. It's going to be a great time. We're going to meet a lot of great people, new people, old people.
Yeah.
Old
friends.
Old friends. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe old people. But no, we're excited. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. If I could just share one last word for our people who haven't decided if they're coming to Summit yet or not. Tech layoffs have been a big thing this year. And, Google, Facebook, they're getting Salesforce, they're getting all of the attention, but this is a ripple effect we're seeing in our community, a lot of layoffs. I've had friends that were personally impacted. This time last year, I was laid off. So this is very near and dear to my heart. And we have been looking at ways to connect that talent workforce better. And so this year, I would invite anyone who is out there looking for their next opportunity. Maybe you've been laid off, maybe you're just ready for a new challenge. Come and join us. Come to Summit for the day. You'll meet wonderful employers. You may even end up being someone's co-founder. But join us on the arena floor. We're doing a Florida's Got Talent session with you ladies as our facilitators, and we'll have about 20 really wonderful employers, people that we trust and know are wonderful, innovative companies that are looking for talent. And they're looking for people like you right now. So this is a great opportunity to dust off that resume, bring a QR code or a digital copy of that, and show up and share your experience and connect with someone who wants you on their team.
Yeah,
That's a
no,
great point.
right. Thank you.
I know.
Yeah.
I'll
Come
put
on down.
Come
Come
see
see
us.
us.
Come find your next career
Right?
It's
opportunity.
your next path.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we'll have some representatives too that are in tech that will be there representing us in Next Path. So we're so excited for that because this is new this year, right?
It is brand new. We've never done this before. And the arena floor is kind of that space where we do all of the biggest and best exhibits. So the investment that we're making in this, it's really important to us, not just from the perspective of connecting our employers with talent, right? But also in the perspective of supporting our community. Being laid off is a scary thing, and it is just a huge blow to your confidence, your sense of self-concept. So we want people to know that's not the last step in their career. So I love what you said, finding your next path.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Raechel, again.
Thank you, ladies.
It
This has
was
been
really
so fun.
absolutely. It was wonderful having you. You've mentioned so many great points, and we hope to see you guys at Synapse on the 14th of February. And until next time, live bold and boss up.